Yeah, tomorrow night works. What time?
9? Is that okay?
9 is perfect.
Maniac is a film you directed. It's based on another film that came out way back in 1980. So what was it about that original film that inspired you to want to revisit this material and make it fresh and new for a new audience?
What initially marked me about the original, more so than the obvious gore fest for which it's known for, was the character of Frank, played by Joe Spinell at the time. His performance and the fact that he did all these horrific things to people, women, and yet I felt really bad for him. And I'd forgotten to feel for the victims, which is dangerous, which is a dangerous proposition. And so that's what touched me first. And that's why I thought it was exciting to maybe remake that movie.
Oh, you're just like her! You do the same things as her!
I want to talk a little bit about the story, because there are people maybe that aren't familiar with Maniac, and what are some of the things that make it unique. Who is this guy, and what makes him more than just a serial killer?
Maniac is the story of Frank Rizzo, who is this character who got issues, obviously, with women, and he's a night stalker in essence, who, you know, captures women and keeps souvenirs of them after discarding with them. It's really the story of a man struggling with his own issues growing up, with you know, some serious mommy issues and women.
Good night, Anna.
I find Elijah Wood to be a really interesting choice. What went into the decision-making process for you and choosing him to play this protagonist?
This very idea that he is completely different from what you could imagine, and that this is definitely not something that he would play, even though he did a similar character in Sin City. It was more interesting for me to have a character that is so kind and so nice, and for the audience to imagine that he is capable of such things, in a way. And also I felt that, you know, in today's audience it was just so much more sophisticated. You have to believe the relationship between him and this beautiful girl in the film. And so if he doesn't have something that is enticing, charming, alluring, and then you don't believe that she would ever go for him, and then the story sort of dies.
There's a lot of choices, obviously, for people who are interested in psychological thrillers or horrors or genre films in general. What would you say is the one aspect, if you had to boil it down, that makes Maniac worth picking up and watching?
I think you get a real visceral experience with this movie of participating in some really horrific crimes, and somehow maybe an insight on what makes, you know, somebody like that tick. It really just, I feel, and in watching it still, that it just it grabs a hold of you and it creeps up on you, and it's scary in a very different and original way.